All of you lovers of comic books, you've turned to the right program. We're going to look today at the Republican debate, and we're going to frame it inside of some of the more abusive questions asked by the CNBC moderators, but we're going to own it. Or we're going to own comic books. You're going to be a fan of Superman by the time you're done with the show. I promise you. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
If you knew how many times we have had to shoot this. All right, listen, this is a parental warning, okay? Parental warning. If you have small children in the room, and I'm talking 10 and under, 11, I don't know, 6 and under, you need to have them leave. Maybe you don't, I don't know. And the reason you need to have them leave, wink, wink, is because I'm going to talk about comic books. All right. But first of all, as you know, John Boehner has resigned, and he gave his farewell speech, and he shed his obligatory tears, and now we have Paul Ryan as the Speaker of the House. I absolutely do not trust him. He could earn the trust. We'll see what happens. But I think that he's just going to be more of the Republican establishment. I think he wants to become president. All right, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the Republican debates that happened a couple nights ago. And if you've been listening to talk radio, if you've been watching the television, then you know that there's been just genuine outrage, deserved outrage at the CNBC moderators, okay? These are not good people, all right? These are not good people. And it was so bad that secular left-wing journalists, after the debate, were saying that CNBC was so far out of line that they basically, all voices were saying they were reprehensible. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to just say this all over again, because you could hear it from anywhere. You can go to Rush, you can go to Sean, go to Mark Levin, you can go to any number of Fox TV programs and see people berating the CNBC moderators because their questions were so pathetic. And I am going to play some clips a little bit later, but I want to come at this from a completely different angle. This is why I said you need to get your kids out of the room. And it's the comic book angle. Comic book. If you're a Tolkien fan, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, okay? Did you know that Tolkien said that he was inspired to write this magnificent allegory, really, based upon one chapter written by G.K. Chesterton? The chapter, and forgive me, it's either in Orthodoxy or Heretics. He wrote 2 books, G.K. Chesterton did, but the chapter is called The Ethics of Elfland. The Ethics of Elfland. Tolkien said that he was inspired to write the Lord of the Rings series, all those books, because of the ethics of Elfland. And what Chesterton was saying, in so many words, is that the reason we gravitate towards fairy tales, the reason that Superman as a superhero, or Batman as a superhero who goes through horrible loss and then comes back, loses his parents, the reason we gravitate toward these is because they are a reflection or an echo of the true story. Jesus Christ conquered death. He faced the villains. He faced the demons. That's why the human spirit, the human heart, the human mind gravitates toward these things. Now, I know I'm going to go over on this a little bit. Here's the one I want to show you. Trump was ambushed by John Harwood. Is this a comic book presidency? I'm going to play the clips, and I'm going to run this theme all the way through today's show. This begins with an interview that John Harwood did with Trump some time ago. Let's play the clip.
Policy questions is, I'm Trump, I'm good, I'm the best, I will get it done.
Well, there's a little truth to that.
Well,
In fact, I think
been
there's
very
actually
successful,
a lot of truth to
but we
that.
don't have Superman presidents.
No, but we will if you have Trump. You watch.
So you see Trump saying, watch me, I'll be a superhero president. All right? Now watch the clip of John Harwood asking him a question at the debate.
By promising to build a wall and make another country pay for it. Right. Send 11 million people out of the country. Cut taxes $10 trillion without increasing the deficit. Right. And make Americans better off because your greatness would replace the stupidity and incompetence of others.
That's right.
Let's be honest. Is this a comic book version of a presidential campaign?
It's not a comic book, and it's not a very nicely asked question the way you say that.
So you see, he's mocking him. He's mocking him. And he said, I've talked to financial people who have said that you could no more work your financial plan than you could fly out of this room by flapping your arms. Total mockery. And it was a mockery not just of Trump, please. It was a mockery of the concept of the superhero. Now, do I think that Trump is going to be a superhero president? Probably not. I'm going to come back to this theme or come back to the application to Trump. But what I want you to see is that someone like Harwood, he really does despise Superman because he despises Christ. Do you understand? These are not good people. John Harwood, these moderators that you see on the stage, these are unrighteous, unholy people. These are people whose hands are drenched with blood, okay? These are people who believe in butchering little babies that are inside of their mother's womb, right? God's word says that this is satanic, that they're literally offering their sons and daughters to demons, and the blood of these babies cries out to God. That's what Harwood believes in. He is an unholy, unrighteous man. And there is a connection between his personal wickedness, his personal evil, his personal corrupted ethics, and the fact that he despises the theme of the superhero and Superman. Do you get it? And I'll go one step further with it. Harwood would rather read Karl Marx. He's above comic books. He's above, he's mocking, do you get it? And he's trying to make it seem like we're stupid to believe in the ethics of Superman or in the story of a Superman or of a superhero because we're stupid to believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God who rose from the dead. Are you following me? I'm going to take a break. I will pick up with this theme. I've got more clips coming. But I thought to myself, I'm running right at it. You're darn right I love comic books because they're based, the true superhero stories are all based upon Christ and the superheroes in the Bible like King David and Joshua and you name it, Paul the Apostle, Peter the Apostle. Yeah, I believe in superheroes. And John Harwood, if he was in a comic book, let me tell you right now, he'd be the villain. Thanks to friends like you, we have state-of-the-art cameras and state-of-the-art teleprompters and state-of-the-art gear here in the studio. We have one big need, however. We have not yet been able to upgrade our computers. The computers that we use for a television broadcast or to create a documentary are not like the kind that you can just go buy at Best Buy. They are expensive because it takes so much horsepower to create TV series and or documentaries. So I'm asking you, if you want to see this show grow and you want to see us finish the What Would Muhammad Do series, help us get these computers. 3 computers that we need right now are going to be just shy of $20,000. That's the kind of horsepower that we need. Go to the GoFundMe page you see right there. Watch the pilot for What Would Muhammad Do? And if you like the show, give us a gift. All right, Billy Bob and I have been talking off air and throngs of people here in the auditorium trying to decide, that was a joke, I'm trying to decide how to explain this. And I don't, he said, well, look, there might be people who don't get it, who think that if you even compare Jesus to a Superman or Superman to Jesus, that it's some weird thing. And no. Look, here's my advice to you. Rent and watch Man of Steel, okay? It's the Superman movie that came out like 2010 or 2011. Man of Steel. Just watch it, and you'll understand the allegory that's going on in the movie, and it is absolutely an allegory based on the Christ figure. So if you step back a little bit and talk about heroes, we want heroes. We want our children to have heroes, do we not? And we, if we're good parents and grandparents, we will carefully pick what stories they read, what stories they hear, what movies they watch, what books they read, what comic books they read, because we want them to get it in their head that there are heroes based upon right and wrong. And the other thing we were discussing is that you can have a hero in an ethical framework that is a villain to us. So if you're in a, let me say it better like this. A hero in one framework is based upon the ethics of that framework. So a Marxist hero could be Mao Zedong or Fidel Castro, because they're following the ethical structure laid down by Karl Marx and his buddy Joseph Engels, okay? So in their ethical framework, they're the hero. In a Christian ethical framework, they're the villain, okay? Now, so that ultimately begs the question, this is why John Harwood is, I've said that he is an unholy, unrighteous, unethical man. At the end of the day, this is about whether or not there's a God in heaven. It really is. The whole discussion, not about Trump, but the discussion about the ethics, whether there is a superhero and what defines a superhero, and is this a comic book presidency? Can you imagine if Trump wins and he really helps lead the country into some type of restoration? There will be comic books about him someday. My kids have comic books about true historical figures. All right. I hope that made sense. Because what I'm saying is own it. You're darn right I believe in comic books, because I believe in superheroes. And I believe in superheroes because the Bible's full of them. And church history is full of them. We need to squeeze in that super... All right, there was a man on the platform the other night who launched a cruise missile, as they're saying it. Ted Cruz launched a cruise missile. Woo! All right, here he comes now in his role as the superhero.
You know, let me say something at the outset. The questions that asked so far in this debate illustrate why the American people don't trust the media. This is not a cage match. And you look at the questions. Donald Trump, are you a comic book villain? Ben Carson, can you do math? John Kasich, will you insult two people over here? Marco Rubio, why don't you resign? Jeb Bush, why have your numbers fallen? How about talking about the substantive issues people care about?
Does this count? Do we get credit for this one?
And Carl, I'm not finished yet. The contrast with the Democratic debate, where every fawning question from the media was, which of you is more handsome and wise?
So this is
And
a question about the debt limit, which you have 30 seconds left to answer, should you choose to do so.
Let me be clear. The men and women on this stage have more ideas, more experience, more common sense than every participant in the Democratic debate. That debate reflected a debate between the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. And nobody watching at home believes that any of the moderators has any intention of voting in a Republican primary. The questions that are being asked shouldn't be trying to get people to tear into each other. It should be, what are your substantive solutions to people who are...
Wasn't that awesome? That clip has been playing all over the country, and I played it just in case you didn't see it. All right, stay with me. We've got more to talk about. I'll be right back with more clips. Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today. There are no new ideas. Did you know that? There's nothing new under the sun. The Bible says so. And if you look at Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4, those 4 chapters are the seed, the story of those 4 chapters. They have everything in the human race that's ever happened right there. Okay? God, Satan, man, woman, love, treachery, violence, murder, justice, punishment, deception. It's all there. Right there in Genesis 1 through 4. That is the true story. Every story that's ever come after that is merely an echo, a rewrite, a perversion of the true story. So, but there's some people, Billy Bob was telling me off the air, that there's some people that really believed that what was his name? The bad guy in this Batman movie? The Joker. The Joker. That the Joker was the good guy because the Joker suppressed crime. Okay? So if you have draconian rules, if you have someone like Dracula, somebody like who just kills people, executes them for stealing a loaf of bread, you're going to have terror and you're going to have very low crime. But he's not a hero because even though he's suppressing crime, he is crushing human liberty. He is not doing good based upon the good as defined by God. So, along those lines, if you saw the debate, you'd realize that the questions were pathetic. Rubio's line that the Democrats have a super PAC. It's called the mainstream media. It was spot on. George Stephanopoulos, John Harwood, all these people, Chuck Todd, these are unholy, unrighteous people. And they hate the Republican candidates, and they love Hillary because they believe in killing babies. And they believe in homosexual marriage. They embrace the evils that are destroying this country, and they call them good. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, the prophet Isaiah said. All right, here's one of the gotcha questions. The question goes to Michael Huckabee, Governor Huckabee, trying to undermine Donald Trump. Watch.
Governor Huckabee, you've written about the huge divide in values between middle America and the big coastal cities like New York and Los Angeles. As a preacher as well as a politician, you know that presidents need the moral authority to bring the entire country together. The leading Republican candidate, when you look at the average of national polls right now, is Donald Trump. When you look at him, do you see someone with the moral authority to unite the country?
You know, as few questions I've got, the last one I need is to give him some more time. I love Donald Trump. He is a good man. I'm wearing a Trump tie tonight. Get over that one, okay?
Is that made in Mexico?
I don't know.
Is it made? Is it made in China or Mexico?
I have no idea. Again,
That is,
China or
and by the way,
Mexico?
such a nasty question. But thank you, Governor.
you're welcome. Let me tell you, Donald Trump would be a better president every day of the week and twice on Sunday rather than Hillary. I've spent a lifetime in politics fighting the Clinton machine.
Now, I have to hand it to Huckabee. He could have, there's any numbers of ways he could have answered it. And I'm going to say something to you. It is a valid question. There's a lot of us that are concerned about Donald Trump. Part of me just loves what he's doing. And part of me is like, well, what if he gets in office and, he, it was the superhero that wasn't really the superhero? I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to talk about Bush and Rubio, and I'm going to explain to you why I think that Donald Trump is the greatest thing that's happened to the Republican Party in quite some time. Friend, this TV show represents a mission. It's to be a voice of resistance to the evil in the land but also to inspire people like you to take a stand at any level that you might be able to equip you, to inspire you, to challenge you, to give you the rhetorical ammunition that you need. But we still have to pay bills. This program, as you know if you're a regular viewer, we don't spend a lot of time raising money. We don't spend a lot of time saying, oh, you need to buy this and we're gonna run. No, we're bringing you a message, but we still have bills that we need to pay. I'm asking you, if you have been blessed by this show, to please go to our website or send a check to the address you see on the screen or call the phone number that you see on the screen and use your credit card and to give $50 or $100 or $500 just to help us meet our normal expenses. And we'll keep bringing you this hard-hitting show. All right, thank you for staying with me. We're running out of time. I want to play this clip of Bush and Rubio going at it and bring it back around to the value of Trump. This is Jeb Bush thinking he's going to throw down Rubio, and then Rubio really hurting Bush.
And I expected that he would do constituent service, which means that he shows up to work. He got endorsed by the Sun Sentinel because he was the most talented guy in the field. He's a gifted politician. But Marco, when you signed up for this was a 6-year term, and you should be showing up to work. I mean, literally, the Senate, what is it, like a French work week? You get like 3 days where you have to show up? You can campaign or just resign and let someone else take the job. There are a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck in Florida as well. They're looking for a senator that will fight for them each and every day.
I get to respond, right?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Well, it's interesting. Over the last few weeks, I've listened to Jeb as you've walked around the country and said that you're modeling your campaign after John McCain, that you're going to launch a furious comeback the way he did by fighting hard in New Hampshire and places like that, carrying your own bag at the airport. You know how many votes John McCain missed when he was carrying out that furious comeback that you're now modeling it under?
He wasn't my
No, Jeb, I don't remember. Well, let me tell you, I don't remember you ever complaining about John McCain's vote record. The only reason why you're doing it now is because we're running for the same position, and someone has convinced you that attacking me is going to help you.
Well,
Here's the bottom line. My campaign is going to be about the future of America. It's not going to be about attacking anyone else on this stage. I will continue to have tremendous admiration and respect for Governor Bush. I'm not running against Governor Bush. I'm not running against anyone on the stage. I'm running for president because there is no way we can elect Hillary Clinton to continue the policies of Barack
Thank you,
Obama.
Senator.
All right, so that didn't work well for Jeb, and you saw it on his face. He was cringing. And I bet he was sitting there thinking, who did tell me to do this? Because his handlers told him to do it, okay? And Rubio was spot on. He said, yes, somebody convinced Bush that it would help Bush to try and hurt Rubio over his showing up in the Senate. Poor Bush doesn't get it. He keeps talking about his record as the governor, and we don't want to hear about your record as the governor. We're sick of career politicians. We're sick of the mainstream media. And this is where I will end the show. To my good friend, shout out to Dr. Alan Keyes. He's like my conscience. I filmed this show with Dr. Keyes' voice going on in my head many times. Because he'll call me. Randall, I take issue with something you said there. So my good friend, Dr. Alan Keyes, warnings to me notwithstanding. There is a political elite class in the Republican Party. Karl Rove, who I loathe his agenda, his politics. He's way up here in the food chain. There's literally hundreds, thousands of them in Washington, D.C. These are paid political consultants. One of the people on Bush's payroll keeps going out in the media saying, Trump's a joke, he's finished. He's still leading in every poll, you moron. I mean, I don't want to be unkind. Calling him a moron is probably over the top, but look, he's foolish, and it's just that they want to play by rules that are 20 years old, 30 years old. It's always been done this way. This is the way we're going to do it. That's the value of Donald Trump. He is showing us, giving us permission to despise the media. He's giving us a place to vent our frustration against the political leaders, the John Boehners, the Mitch McConnells, who are not good men. They are not intelligent people. They are treacherous. They have betrayed the babies, betrayed us. They keep funding Planned Parenthood. They cave into the Supreme Court. And Rubio said something that was so perfect, that somebody convinced you, Jeb. And what Trump is doing is if Trump wins, all right, the ethical issues of child killing and homosexuality, which is a big deal to me, the biggest one in our country, set that aside for a minute. One of the benefits that he is doing for all of us is he's bringing a wrecking ball to the infrastructure of the treacherous Republican Party. He is a wrecking ball to the Benedict Arnolds in our midst, the Judases in our midst. And maybe they'll just all be unemployed and they'll go sell shoes somewhere.